The dangers of not thinking clearly are much greater now than ever before. It's not that there's something new in our way of thinking. It's that credulous and confused thinking can be much more lethal in ways it was never before. Chapter 12. Abstract of Mind. A Vision of Ancient Man. It is common knowledge that new eras of thought rise and fall with time. Whether or not this thought is productive towards society is determined by time and results. Long ago, before the gods left Miskol on their perilous journey through the void, a foolish Endo named Ratmun lived within its halls. Ratmun was a critical thinker and considered an extremist by most Endo. He would spend countless days atop his balcony, shouting to the masses of travelers who came and went. "What do the gods even provide us?" he would say. "Haven't the Endo accomplished all of this grand architecture by themselves, while the gods sit idle inside their great hall?" Most common folk dismissed Ratmun as a joke, simply brushing him off as a psychotic old unit. However, as time progressed, more and more Endo would sit below his balcony, listening to his rantings. "What makes a god, fellow Endo? What makes them higher and superior to us? Have we not crafted ships to sail the void? Have we not gilded our units with treasures from countless planets? Have we not built a foundation for ourselves that will last eons? What have they done but hide away in their halls while we run their forges, while we pay tribute, while we sacrifice our time and energy? Are we not the gods then?" His speeches sparked like wildfire as many more Endo gathered, drinking in his poisonous words. However, one night, a new figure approached Ratmun from below his balcony and called out to him. "Ratmun, if you are so convinced you are god like them, then accomplish a feat only a god could do. Read from the great book of mind and return unharmed. Then surely you will be a god." Ratmun scoffed at the suggestion, but bore no hesitation towards its words. "I bet you I could do such a feat and return within a single star cycle." And so Ratmun took off under the cover of night, fueled by pride, through the great city of Miskol, until he came to the doors of the Grand Archive, where Mind dwelled. "This will be simple," he whispered to himself as he slipped through the open door and into the main hall. Rows upon rows of bookshelves lined the room, towering higher than Ratmun could even see, and as he moved further in, he was astonished by the life in the room. Hundreds, no, by his count thousands of Endo past their expiration, hovered about the shelves in smaller units, tending to the possible millions of books stored there. With his curiosity piqued, he reached onto a nearby shelf and pulled a book from it. The application of 5D optical data storage. Kazuyuki Hirao, B.E. 2018. He marveled at the book for a moment, feeling a slight pull from the knowledge inside, but his ego washed up like a commanding wave on the shoreline of his psyche. Ratmun stored the book and quickly made his way deeper into the archive. Moments later, he found himself at the foot of the stairs leading to where Mind worked, and he took careful steps to avoid anyone seeing or hearing him approach. And once he made it to the top, he discovered something strange. Mind was not there. The room was empty, devoid of any life, save for a single tome in the center of the room. Ratmun approached the tome, cautiously, and placed his hands against it. It was different, crafted differently than the Bastium slates that held data. There was this strange texture along the outside of the book, which felt organic and soft to the touch. He quickly opened it, seeking his prize, and to his dismay, found just strange cuttings of cellulose fiber and etchings in oil. Frustrated, he flipped through it and shook his head. "This is a book only for the gods," but nothing has happened to me. I am right. The gods are nothing, no one, and the presence here is pointless. He shouted, hit by the revelation that his prophecies were right. Well, that is until he looked up and felt his wires shiver. The Grand Archive was no more. In place of it was naught but ruin and ash, floating, unconstrained by gravity's grip, and in the sky where Eos sat, a giant singularity. He called out, "Anyone! Hello! Please! What happened?" But only the crumbling metal and stone responded. Suddenly, a voice etched itself into his head. "This is the future we prevent. Because of your words, you have pushed us closer and closer towards destroying our lives. The Endo need to work together to avoid this. Your toxic way of life is nothing but a blight on society. Useless unit." Ratmun fell to his knees, begging the voice calling out to him, "Please, I don't want to be trapped here. I now understand everything. I don't want to die. I can fix this." He shuddered, feeling the cold bite of the vacuum of space on his metal skin. "Oh, we know you will." The voice shook his core as he felt an unrelenting pressure slam against his body, bending his limbs and cracking his flesh. He opened his mouth to scream out in agony, but only the sound that was left was metal against metal as his skull began to fracture and split. "Please!" he cried out, as his ears began to fill with the screams of dying souls pressing against his mind and shattering his psyche like glass. "Please! I will do what is right!" "Because of your insolence to the gods, you will forever be tied to this place, but walk among the living. Go, fulfill your prophecy." The screams grew louder and louder as the voice quaked in his mind for the last time. "Wake up, void seer of mind. Tell them what you have seen!" As a rolling thunderclap of energy split his mind and jolted him awake. Light burned his eyes as he looked around, holding one hand to his head and the other to the ground. He looked around, gathering his senses, and stood up, hit with a sudden realization. He wasn't in the archive anymore. No, he was standing on his balcony. He struggled again to move his servos as they cried out in pain, and he looked down at his body to assess what damage had befell him. Cracks spidered through his skin, and between them emanated a purple glow. And as he moved, he watched it flicker, as if it was a burning fire inside of him. He pulled himself to the railing, looking down at the crowd, and felt in his head what he needed to do. "Endo!" he cried out with a painful, raspy voice. "I had a vision."